How's it going, Ram fans? I am Leah Kukowski, joined by the woman, the myth, the legend, Jenny Cavnar today. Jenny, how are you doing?
Oh my gosh, great.
It's so good to see you.
It's always good to be back on campus. I love coming up to Fort Collins.
You have so much history here. It's so amazing. And you've probably heard it for about the 100th time in the past week. You're the first woman primary play-by-play announcer for the MLB. How are you feeling? What are the emotions right now?
It's cool. It doesn't get old to hear that. It's so special because I don't think it's a job that was ever on my career path. It was never on my vision board, if you will. And here we are. Sitting in front of this big season ahead, and I can't wait. Also, I can only wear green and gold now, straight through, seam line, straight through.
So true.
So it works out.
It works out. And gold. It's like full circle moment. That's so
It
true.
is. No, it's cool. It's a special title for sure, but I think what's most important to me is it took so many women and so many women's efforts to get to this place, and I feel very blessed and lucky to be the one that holds the keys to that right now. But it's not going to be for long that it's the only. It's just going to be a matter of time. The doors getting pushed open a little bit more. The opportunities are greater and grander for your generation coming into sports broadcasting soon when you guys graduate, and for the generation after you, it's exciting to know the future's bright.
Also, Women's History Month. This is all happening at such a crazy time. How does that feel and mean even more of your name being the talk of the town during such an important time of the month too? Yeah,
it is. I think again, it's very humbling for certain, and it's given me a lot of time through all the chaos to reflect on all the very important women in my life that left an impression, that left a thumbprint, so to speak, planted a seed, however you want to say it. I'm very grateful, and I think that starts with my own mom, right, and the way that I was raised at home, and the men in our life too that encouraged and continued to help me push the envelope along the way. There's been so many men and women to be appreciative for.
Definitely, and when you speak, especially on the men's side of things, you and I can relate of our dads being baseball coaches, which is so cool, and being in the Centennial League. Go Warriors! No, you're Spring Hill, but no. And just you're a Colorado native, your name carries. Just your whole life has really been deep-rooted in Colorado and people here. How are you and your family kind of adjusting from having to leave again?
Yeah, it's so crazy because the roots are so deep. I'm a fifth-generation Colorado native, and so there is so much pride for us being from Colorado and having our family rooted here. Going to Colorado State, getting the opportunity to start a career in baseball was with the San Diego Padres, and that's where I met my husband, but it eventually took us right back to Colorado and being with the Rockies for the last 12 years. So getting to cover the hometown team, the team I grew up rooting for, there was nothing like it. It was a special 12 years that I'm so grateful for.
What do you take away the most from your time spent with the Rockies?
I think it's just the people. It's the organization, but it's also the people on the sports production side, sports TV production side that just became family, best of friends, huge influencers and career changers for me. Allison Behill, who's our Rockies producer, is the first one that really kind of planted that seed of what if you just filled in and did play-by-play for the select games that we have for that, and what would that look like, and what if that does sound different, but is that okay, and how could we make that work, and how could we support you in that, and really brought it to me as not we're going to pluck you and you have to do all this work, but we're going to surround you and we're going to figure this out together. When you talk about people I'll miss, Bud Black comes to mind. He's been a huge influence in my baseball career, my life. I've had him as a manager of a team I've covered for basically the majority of it, starting in San Diego when he was there, and then him coming over to the Rockies when I was there. And so that phone call to Bud was a really hard one to just say I'm not going to be there next year and I'm moving on, but he was so proud of me, and so those relationships mean so much.
Well, that attests to so much what you've done there, and the nice thing about TV though, you'll still probably run into them.
Run into them all the time, absolutely.
And to make even better relationships, going to the A's and
yes,
it's kind of starting over, but in a good way.
It
you
is.
Get to still have those relationships, which I think is so special, and obviously you've been paving the way since that 2018 famous. You came in for Drew Goodman that one day, called a game. And it was your famous slogan, "Fire up the fountains." She's gone.
And that ball is shot into left field. Fire up the fountains. She's gone.
I love it. I love it. I have to know.
Yeah.
Are you working on something new?
Yes, I'm trying to craft something new, right? You have to.
Yes.
I think, too, keep it simple, stupid. It's always been like a good motto in life and in transition. So there'll probably be some simplicity to what I do, but I have been workshopping some things. We've been playing MLB The Show again at home to try and come up with something new. But I think it's organic, too. Like, I need to be there. I need to be in the ballpark. And a lot of the games that I'm going to be doing for the A's right now are going to be their road games. So they have some fun personalities on this team, some young, exciting players. So it might be individual to individual, too. We might have variations. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed that Fire Up the Fountains doesn't work at the Coliseum.
It can go back,
Yeah, there you go.
Again, I just remember, and like that story about you, like practicing playing the show with your husband is so amazing.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Obviously, Colorado State is so special to you.
Yes.
We're back here. We're at the College of Business.
Yeah.
Where you studied. Like, how much more does it feel coming back on this campus, knowing that you're also even more of a larger part with working with Amy Parsons now as a mentor? What does that mean to you?
Oh, it has been the coolest experience. I think when I was transitioning last year, the Rockies had lost their regional sports network rights and things were changing. And so I had to start thinking about what does that change look like for, me and my family, and what if television isn't on the other side of that? And I'm really glad I didn't give that up, because a different job, a big job, was on the other side of that. But I started talking with Amy a lot last summer about, what could I do at the university? How could I get more involved? And she created the President's Executive in Residence, and I'm so honored to be the first. And I know that there's going to be some great names lined up with some amazing career stories that are going to come back on campus and really influence the kids going to college right now and their pursuits and their careers and passions. But to kind of be the guinea pig of it and work with her and just get back on campus. There's a feeling when you're here that, yes, part of it's nostalgia, but part of it is excitement, because you're seeing the change and the changes that are currently being done on campus, the physical changes, but you're also seeing changes within the student body. And so I've enjoyed my time that I've gotten to talk with you guys at CTV and, just answer questions or have shadow days, things like that. And just to transition that into a bigger role is really fun.
It's so awesome. And we appreciate it so much. Like, you're one of the main reasons we wanted to start getting involved into CTV. It's so cool. And, you have a pretty cool story about how you kind of got into CTV.
Yeah.
I got a pleasure of meeting Dave Allhouse the other week.
I'm sure he told you all about it.
Oh, of course. And how you went up to him in the dining hall and were like, I'm going to join. So what was the biggest learning experience, and just kind of explain your time at CTV from CSU?
Yeah, I had this idea in my head for a long time that I want to be a sports reporter. And it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to do it. And I think that was my meeting with Dave, is he's like, well, okay, then show up and do it.
I'm Jenny Cavnar, and for the next half hour, I'll take you through the highs and lows of the past season as CTV Sports presents the 2003 Season in Review. All week long, questions remained about Colorado State's ability to contain a smoking gun like Heisman hopeful Ben Roethlisberger, and the answer would come on their opening drive. The Rams will also play in the Rocky Mountain Showdown in a new venue, Folsom Field. After their trip to Boulder, the Rams will continue to play at Miami of Ohio and return here to sunny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium to face Minnesota.
Nah. Hey. Goodbye.
In other words, looks like it's time to go, especially for him. Be sure to join us every Monday night and watch CTV weeknights from 8 to midnight for the latest in sports news and entertainment. For Crazy Chris Dittmer, I'm Jenny Cavnar. Good night.
Good night.
And it was so simplistic, and yet it was like, yeah, he's right. Like, I got to show up. And so that was my main takeaway, is like showing up. And I think that's my advice to a lot of people that want to get into this business, or really any business post-college, is you have to show up and start doing it, right? You got to start learning. You got to start meeting people. You have to start networking, growing in it, all the things. And until you do it, it's just still an idea. But when you start doing it, you feel like you're doing it, and you feel like you have this confidence that you can go out in the real world and do it.
I know it's like so hard to sometimes keep maintaining that confidence and like getting backlash and on media. Like, how do you stay so grounded to like where you've gotten today?
Part of it is wisdom and experience and getting older. I don't think I could have maintained or had this job, or even been maybe in sports media nowadays with social media, had that been around when I began in my 20s. That would have been probably really hard for me. And so I've learned to have some thick skin. I've learned who I can trust. I've learned who's going to tell me the truth. And that truth isn't always good. It's that truth is making you better. And so keeping those people close to me and my circle and valuing that opinion more than the opinion of people I don't know, I think is one way to keep you grounded.
And my last question I have for you today, Jenny, again, thank you so much for being on. But looking back, again, you've made so many like roadways and paths for women in sports. What is something that you tell your college self if you were going into your dorm for the very first time? What would you tell that younger Jenny with everything you know now?
I would just say it's going to be awesome. Like, dive in, meet all the people, do all the things. And I think that's what I ended up doing in college. But I think it would just be like, this isn't in vain. Like, what you're doing is with a purpose, and there's going to be a greater purpose on the other side. And even though you don't know about it, like, enjoy your time. So it's so easy to let it fly by, right? We do that in life so often. And so you're going to make me like cry. That's very emotional to think about that. Like, thinking back to your younger self. But yeah, just keep at it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
That is great advice. I need to take that.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. All the steps, good and bad.
The journey is, the part of everything.
Yeah.
Jenny, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We adore you. I adore you.
Oh, back at you.
Cannot wait for this season. And have fun on campus
again
today.
Right? We'll have a good time.